from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, co-host of the Smart Money Happy Hour, and my daughter is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Jonathan is with us in Morganton, West Virginia. Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Hello, Dave. Better than I deserve. How are you?
Just the same, sir. How can we help?
Awesome. I've known your voice for probably 20 years now. I'm 31. My father listened to you as I was a child. I strayed from the path a little bit leaving college, but we're back on it now. We paid off about $110,000 in debt in 3 years. We're on baby step 6. Wife and I got married in 2017. We are now expecting our 4th child in February. Our oldest is 4, turning 5 next month. And
dang, that's a lot of kids. A lot of kids under 5.
I know. I'm the oldest of 11, so the more the merrier. God will provide.
Amen.
But our house is 1,200 square feet. We bought, what we could afford back in 2017. Salary has gone from about 90 to 160-ish since then. But my wife really wants more space for the 4th kid. Our house is only 1,200 square feet, and we're wondering if we should just, be content, pay off our house and go from there, or if we should look at buying a bigger house or look at remodeling options. We really like the location we're at in our property. We've got 5 acres out in the country. The kids love it. But my wife has really been looking and wanting more space, and I'm wondering if I'm being a cheapskate and wanting to be content with what we have until we get it paid off.
So in your mind, Jonathan, once you pay it off, would you be open to moving then?
I suppose I would be, or saving up money to do a remodel and get more space.
What's your household income?
So my wife is a stay-at-home homeschooling mother of our kids, and I have a mining engineering degree. I work for a coal mine as a supervisor. My salary is $120. After bonuses last year, our gross was $160.
Okay.
And our net worth is $450 right now. All we owe is $150 on the house, and it's probably worth $200 or $220 somewhere in that.
Okay. I've done a lot of remodels in my real estate life, and I would strongly recommend, with that many children under the age of 5, that you not try to do a remodel. There would be a murder. It's
that is one of my wife's concerns as well.
I think you like the acreage, and I don't really blame you for that. That many kids in 1,200 square feet is pretty tight. I don't think it's an unreasonable, weird thing to say, like we're not being out of control, opulent or something like that, to try to move up a little in house, get a little bit more square footage, since you're going to have this many chickens in the coop. And so, it might take a little time to find a piece of property or a house that's a little larger on a piece of property, because you like the acreage. And again, I don't blame you for that. I like a little space myself. I can't stand these things where they're crammed in on top of me. But anyway, so you do make enough money to sell that house and to move up into more square footage. You're just going to have to be careful about how you do it so that you don't take on too much house, and that the payment is no more than 1/4 of your take-home pay.
Yeah, and I think, Jonathan, sitting down with your wife and you guys, talking out, like, hey, what do we want the next 5 to 10 years to be like in our home? What do we want it to feel like? Do we want the freedom of, do we value more acreage? Because I know when when you have kids like that, you're growing up and they're able to run and do stuff. Or do we value a neighborhood where there's other kids and we can all play? Like you guys have to really figure out your values and what you guys want your home to feel like and be as a family. And then your house can reflect that. And so it may take some time to find something that meets both of those. But that's what I would try to kind of figure out. And and maybe in a season that you kind of give up some acreage to get some home, a bigger home just to get through, the kid years. And then once they hit middle school, you can even move up again or change locations. So a house isn't forever. I mean, it's obviously a major purchase and a big life move. So you want to be wise about it. But yeah, I think you guys can definitely afford something more.
Yeah, the thing you want to guard against, folks, is, and Jonathan's trying to do this by asking the question, is this idea that you just always move up and always have a mortgage. Oh, I'm going to always have a mortgage, so I might as well move up. And I'll just move up, and I move up, and I move up. And it kind of falls in the same bucket of, I got a $232 a month raise at the office, so I'm going to go take out a $300 car payment.
Right.
And that's not what we want to do. We want to go the other way. So, but, I don't think that... you didn't call me up and say she has a 4,000 square foot house and she wants a 6,000 square foot house.
Sure.
You call me up, she's got a whole bunch of humans in 1,200 feet there.
And she's homeschooling.
Yeah.
So there's room. I mean, like that. Yeah. I think it's very justified.
And so you could look at adding on to that current property, but I would advise against doing a rehab while you live in a house with a bunch of small children. I think it's
stressful. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've done minor renovations and I didn't like that. It was no fun. So building a house is one thing where you're not living in it. That's a different project. That's a whole different thing. It's all the mess is over there somewhere. Mm-hmm. But if every night when you sit down to eat dinner, there's sawdust on your plate, that starts to be old fast. And it doesn't, and it just seems to drag out forever. So I would not recommend that, just as a lifestyle decision, more than the issue of might also overbuild the neighborhood, you might overbuild the price range, all that kind of stuff, but which is what a lot of people do when they add on. But that's these are the things you got to consider. But it's contentment is a big deal. Mm-hmm. We often say, Rachel and I and all the Ramsey personalities, that it's one of the most powerful of the financial principles. If you can learn to be content, you can get out of debt. If you can learn to be content, you'll always have margin in your budget. If you can learn to be content, you've got money to give and be generous with. If you can learn to be content, you've got a margin. You can learn to have money to put in investments.
Yeah. And on the other end of that, also wanting a level of space with these kids. What I mean? Like what she's presenting isn't, in my opinion, discontentment. It's more just a quality of life.
I'm going crazy here.
Moments, yes.
We have a lot of monkeys in a small cage. I mean, it's just, oh my gosh. It's, whew. I keep all the grandkids, and we got a big house, and it's not big enough. So
they find ways to drive y'all crazy.
I love them.
Fantastic.
They're awesome. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to save up to 40% off everything site-wide. Go to Blinds.com for more information. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Hey, those of you that tuned in last night for the student loan free live stream, there were, I guess it looks like right now we probably had over 100,000 people already view it. Thank you for that. We really appreciate you guys turning out, and Rachel and Jade did a stellar job, and I bookended it, so there we go. Hey, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Hopefully it helped those of you that
really
tuned in. That's
good
what we
content. The way you guys did, what y'all did covering the budgeting stuff was really good.
Well, yeah, we wanted tactical stuff, and I feel like that's one thing that's so hard, especially with these payments coming in October. For a lot of people, they're looking at their money and they're like, I mean, I don't know. I don't even have margin right now. So hopefully us kind of walking through and showing you examples of what it looks like to cut, what it looks like on the income side, to, even looking at pausing investing, how much money that can bring back in each paycheck. So yeah, we got really detailed in it, but I think
you took the Every Dollar app and actually built a budget live on the thing. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and actually the link, I think, is up still at RamseySolutions.com/student loans, or on
you can watch it
or on
still?
YouTube.
Okay.
So make sure, to check it out, because we put it out last night, hoping that it gives you guys direction. And
also, we're heading to Chicago momentarily, and we'll be up there to do Smart Conference Friday night and all day Saturday. If you're in the Chicagoland area, don't have your tickets, get them. But the morning session, the first couple of hours on the couple of money talks, will be Jade and George, and they will be live streamed for free. You don't have to pay a thing. You can just watch the startup of Saturday morning Smart Conference. And so make sure you check all this out. Go to RamseySolutions.com/events. And again, that's Friday evening and Saturday if you're in Chicago. If you're not and want to catch the live stream in that Saturday morning, it will be live, and it will be Jade and George, and a little bit from you. A little bit, right?
No.
Nope.
Okay. I'm in the afternoon.
Okay. Maybe a little bit from me.
I do an intro video that says hello.
That's what it is. And I'm doing a little intro thing too. So yeah.
Yes.
All right.
You'll see us.
Jason is in Shreveport. Hi, Jason. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Okay, so I'm 40 years old. I am a classically trained opera singer and music teacher. When I was 27, I was working on my PhD. I had a grand mal seizure that year. The next year I had another grand mal seizure. I was diagnosed with epilepsy. Fast forward to 2020, I had my second brain surgery 3 weeks before we went into lockdown.
Wow.
They removed 10% of my brain. I'm on the mend in terms of the epilepsy, but there is no cure for epilepsy. It's never going away. What is not going away is my student loan debt. So when I go to try and buy a house, they factor in 1% of that total amount as a monthly payment that I'm not making because I'm on an income-driven repayment plan. And I have tried to file for the total disability discharge and was denied.
Why?
Apparently, because they said that my epilepsy wasn't severe enough. However, when I went through the disability process, it was a retired gynecologist making the decision as to whether or not I would be.
So you're not on SSI. You're not on Social Security.
I am now. Finally, it took 3
permanent
years.
Disability.
No, well, it's not permanent. I have to re-qualify every 3 to 5 years. I'm waiting on that next set of paperwork.
Well, the retired gynecologist didn't do that. That didn't get you into SSI.
Well.
You had to have there had to be another medical professional on that part of the story, right?
Well, I have a neurologist, a epileptologist, and they
gave you the paperwork for the Social Security Administration to approve the SSI disability.
That's correct.
Okay, and your denial on the student loan, idiots, was before you got this SSI approved.
No.
No.
No, they said my condition was not severe enough.
Okay, listen, the answer to the equation is I'm not stopping on that. Dude, you're disabled.
Fair enough.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, the answer is I'm going to go congressman, senator, I'm going to hire an attorney. You got $300,000 wrapped around your neck that's not going away, that should be forgiven.
Is that how much debt it is, Jason?
Yeah.
That's how much I have in my name. My wife. So I have $297,000 in student loan debt. Starting in 2001. My wife also has an additional $200. She has her doctorate. That's correct.
What does she do for a living?
Combined. She's now a college professor.
Making what?
She's a tenure track professor making $51,000. She just got this job this year. We just moved a month ago. It's a really good job for her. Now, I was hoping to have the same kind of position, but without my exit degree.
Help me with this, because I'm sorry, I'm struggling with $51,000, and we call that a good job. So tell me how this works. She's on a tenure track. Does that mean she's going to be making $120 in 3 or 4 years?
We don't know the final number, but once she's granted tenure in 7 years, the income does go up drastically.
Yeah. And it should go up incrementally between now and then also.
I'm hopeful that will be the case.
$51,000 with a PhD teaching at the university level sounds low, period, whether there's tenure or not.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. It's a tough world out there.
No, it's not that. I mean, I'm telling you, that's not right. That's too low. Other PhDs teaching at the college level make a lot more than that. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know whether this is the particular university she got on with, or maybe it's the degree of field. I don't know. So the answer to her $200K is for you guys to get your income up and get rid of it. The answer to your $300K is, good God, is $500,000. It is for you to go after these guys on the disability issue. Because, I mean, the trick with the disability with them is to get, if the Social Security Administration has declared you're disabled and puts you on SSI, that should be the ticket. And they should just straight up forgive it. Now,
is there a difference with it not being permanent? The fact that he has to reapply every 3 to 5 years?
You have to relook it all the time anyway. If you become undisabled, you're not. You lose that. But yeah, I'm telling you, man, I am spending some energy and some time with senators, congressmen, staff, and an attorney, and I'm going to get this gone if I'm in your shoes. I think that should be forgiven. That's what it's for. I mean, upon death or disability, federally insured student loans. But disability isn't, I feel bad. Disability is the Social Security Administration has declared you disabled. And that's the definition for purposes of student loan forgiveness. And that's a standard program. That is not a Joe Biden helped you out. That's been from day one. That program has been there.
Yeah.
Wow, Jason, I'm so sorry you guys are facing this. What a horrible process y'all have been through. And these student loans have just made it worse. So, man, that's awful. And at risk of sounding like I'm piling on him, because I'm not, but that kind of a phone call for this show should be a warning to some of you that you don't go $200,000 in debt to get your PhD to make $50,000. Okay, those numbers don't work. And you don't go $300,000 in debt to live your dream in the opera world, because you could end up with a medical condition and end up in a mess.
Well, and it probably isn't even that lucrative of a.
Well, I mean, it is if it is.
Career.
It's but it's like anything else in the music business. There's a percentage that make all the money and a percentage that wish they did, and either way, you cannot bet $500,000 on these tracks. This is what gets you in trouble. Because then life happens and you end up here. And gosh, Jason, I'm so sorry you're there. I'm not picking on you. But the rest of you should take a warning from this. And if you got a kid wanting to go on this track, tell them no. No, we're not doing this. No. This is The Ramsey Show. It's a competitive home buying market, but there's a way you can get an edge. Churchill Mortgage works with you to understand your budget and your goals. And the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge offers you fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus, Churchill has bumped up their seller guarantee to $10,000, giving your offer the best chance of being accepted and helping you win in today's market. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personalities, my co-host today. Thank you for joining us. Brian is in Portland, Oregon. Hey, Brian, how are you?
I'm well, Dave. Thanks so much for having me on. So I'll get right to the point. It's a bit of a first world-ish problem, but I'm at your step 7 point, and I guess my biggest concern is balancing, obviously, how much I really should spend now based on the amount we have, based on comparing it towards how much do we need to save. Because, I mean, we're at a point where our total retirement plus non-retirement assets are over $1 million. Mm-hmm. We're incredibly fortunate and in some cases unfortunate because of why we got to that point. But at the same point, we're really trying to balance out exactly. Yeah, it's easy to say, let's just live off the returns, and with the two of us combined, make about 165, 170. Mm-hmm.
How old
it's easy
are
to
you?
say that, but at the same, I'm 42.
Okay. All right. Good for you guys. Well done. Millionaire, huh? And so I take it you inherited some of it the way you said, the way we got it. I guess you lost someone?
Yeah. We lost some family at a very young age, relatively to where they should have been.
I'm sorry.
That way.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Well,
but some of the work was obviously on our own as well. We didn't start and just go from zero to $1 million without doing any work ourselves.
Sure.
We're definitely proud that we were at least a chunk of the way there on our own.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, Rachel can speak to this. She does a lot of work on contentment. The two things that Sharon and I do is, one, we had to learn to look at ratios because your emotions can't keep up with your wealth building. I mean, you'll look up in a few years, you have $5 million. You don't feel like you have $5 million. You feel like when you had 50,000. Your emotions don't keep up, okay? And so to circumvent that, we had to say, all right, we can afford a $10,000 cruise. How do we know we can afford that? And we use the burn it in the middle of the floor test. If I took that much money and I made a little fire in the middle of the floor and I burned $10,000, would my life change? No. Yours wouldn't either, by the way. Okay? So I can go on that, or Sharon can go on that cruise, and I get to go with her. So we can make that decision then, because basically we're burning that money, right? It's gone. Poof. We enjoyed it. We experienced it. It's a good thing. I mean, it's why we work. You work, live like no one else, so that you can live like no one else. So that's ratio. I look at ratios. And so if we're going to buy a car for $50,000 or $60,000 or whatever, $100,000, whatever it is, if I drive the car off a cliff with no insurance, does my life change? No. Then I can afford the car. It's a non-issue mathematically. Does that make sense? And so that helps me to spend money that my emotions don't feel like I should do. Like, because your emotions say things to you like you used to say to other people, like, no one needs a car that nice. Nobody ought to drive something like that. This is what people say, right? And that's where I came from, is that neighborhood, right? It's, who needs a, but I had a guy making $15 million. It's a friend of mine pull up in a dad blame whatever, Ferrari or whatever the flip it was, $400,000. Okay? But he made $15 million last year. So him getting a $400,000 car is like Okay, if you made $150,000, you bought a $4,000 car. It's the same ratio. It's a non-issue, but it's just hard to get your head around a $400,000 car. I can't grasp it, but it helps me grasp it if I look at ratios. That's what I'm always doing. What's the ratio on this, and can I burn it in the middle of the floor? The second thing that has helped me is we make sure at all times we are doing three things, and Rachel and I taught parents to do this with their kids. At all times, you should always be increasing your generosity as your income goes up. You should be increasing your investments as your income goes up, and you should be increasing your enjoyment, your lifestyle spending, as your income goes up. And Sharon and I use a percentage on that. Every time I get a big check from the publisher for Total Money Makeover, I get big old checks on that because that thing still sells like crazy. And when I get that big old check in, I've got an automatic percentage, 40% for taxes, 10% per tithe, so there's 50% gone. Okay? Then I've got another 50%. How am I going to allocate that? I'm going to allocate it among those three things, a percentage that we have set in our formula. You make up your formula. We made up ours. But a percentage of that 50 towards lifestyle, a percentage towards investing, and a percentage towards increased generosity beyond the tithe. And so we're always giving more, we're always enjoying more, and we're always investing more. And that keeps me in balance too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's well said. And I think too, Brian, what's helped, I would say my husband and I over time is we've learned to live so significantly below our means, just because it's almost like this litmus test of we're fine. We don't need to continue just to consume and consume and consume, even if the money's there. So we do though look at what he's saying about percentages, and we up our percentage a few percentage points. It's not a ton, honestly. Maybe per year, every 2 years, as we're doing our budget month to month. And we look to say, okay, because we want to be able to enjoy it. Because I hear what you're saying. You're like, if we're working hard and we have the ability to enjoy some of it, we want to. And so for me, I find more enjoyment personally in more of the day-to-day stuff, when I can up the grocery budget a little bit and go to Costco and buy a few more things, or go buy more clothes, or whatever it is, these very small percentages in our budget month to month. That's where I seem to enjoy, that baby step 7 life. But it's a very small percentage, because over time too, you're going to learn stuff is just stuff, and there's not spending an outrageous amount of money. Not that it's right or wrong, but there's a point that it's it doesn't get you what you think it will over time.
Enough lobster, it tastes like soap.
Yeah. So, there's that. But then the big purchases is another thing, Brian, I would say, is for you and your wife to still have a goal. Always be saving for something. Yep. And Winston and I, it was our house. We moved in November of 2019. And we went probably, I'd say probably 6-7 months without anything that we were working towards after that, because we were so tired. It had been years and years and years of that goal. And honestly, it was funny because we got to this point 6 months after we moved in, and I was I feel sloppy with our money a little bit, because we're not working towards something. And so now it was a pool, and we're just now starting that conversation. 4 years, 3.5 years in the making. But always have a thing that you're kind of looking towards, because it just keeps you with those guardrails, especially on baby step 7. That's what I found. So upping your percentage of lifestyle month, throughout the month in your monthly budget per year a little bit, I think is great to enjoy some of it.
You have to build the emotional muscles.
Yes.
By intentionally doing all three things with some kind of a system. And because the people that we see that get in trouble are someone that does only one of those and abandons the other two. They're so generous, they give everything away, and they kill the goose that's laying the golden egg. Or they put everything in investing, and they have no life, and their wife leaves. Or
because they're cheap.
Because they're cheapskate. Or we spend it all and we put nothing in investing and nothing for generosity. Well, that's most people, and that's not one you have to train people to do usually. But it is normal when you have been very disciplined to have trouble letting go of money for enjoyment. That is a normal human reaction, and it has helped me that I'm increasing my generosity. That kind of gives me emotional permission to enjoy some of it on the other hand. And it's helped me to do the burn it in the middle of the floor amount. It's a small
and do
ratio.
your budget still, Brian. I mean, Winston and I, every month, we still track our transactions every dollar. Like, keep a pulse on it, because that also allows you to see, okay, we have X amount and out to eat. We're going to go on a really nice date night, right? If we have some money there. So that budget also gives you that permission to say, we're okay. We're not going crazy. You know, nothing's out of control here. This is what we've allotted. So I would still encourage the budget even on baby step 7, because day-to-day decisions, it allows you to give yourself permission to spend.
And it works, Brian. I've even gotten Rachel's mother to where she can actually spend money now. And she's the world's biggest tightwad. This is the Ramsey Show. Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Thanks for hanging out with us, America. We're glad you're here. I'm Dave Ramsey. Rachel Cruz is my co-host today. Courtney's in Boston. Hi, Courtney. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, how are you guys?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
So I just wanted to get your opinion on something. I am currently living in my grandmother's home, and I may potentially soon have the opportunity to purchase it. But at the moment, I've been working on the baby steps. I'm fairly new. I've paid off a credit card. I've paid off my car, and I have my student loan debt.
Okay.
It's about just under $33,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have savings that I've been working on for a down payment on a house in general before I knew it was a possibility I could purchase the home I'm living in now.
Mm-hmm.
And it has about $56,000 in there.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to just pay off my student loans.
Good.
But people very close to me and people I trust, they've been telling me it's not a good idea.
I'm sure the people you trust are sweet, but they're broke, and it is a good idea. You should pay it off now. Immediately.
So even if,
today.
Let's say next week, the opportunity comes for me to purchase the house I'm in.
You shouldn't buy a home while you have student loan debt.
Okay.
And the home, Courtney, is it your grandmother's home that you're talking about purchasing?
Yeah. So
there's no is there a major timeline rush in that?
Yeah, it's a confusing situation. I suppose no, but she may need nursing home care soon, and she actually transferred the home about 3 years ago to my father and his sister, my aunt. And so if she needs a nursing home in the next couple of years, the home would still be in the Medicaid 5-year look-back period. So they would have to transfer it back to her. It would have to be sold for fair market value, those things. So I can't buy the house yet unless her condition keeps worsening and she needs to go to a nursing facility. Which
why is she going to Medicaid nursing? Why is she going on welfare?
I'm not sure.
Is she broke?
She does not, other than her home, if she were to transfer it back and I were to buy it from her, she doesn't have much assets or income, is my understanding.
Okay. You're not gonna like this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. Okay.
Sure.
You're buying this home at fair market value, and it's not a home you would have bought. You're only doing it because of the situation, and it got thrust right in front of you. If you were just walking around living in a one-bedroom apartment, you would have not bought this house. And if you're paying fair market value, there's zero reason for you to buy it.
It's a nice house, but
Darling, what I just said is true, isn't it?
No, I don't. I disagree because it is in the area I'm looking to purchase in. It has 2 bedrooms, and it's what I'm looking for. So I think that I would purchase it.
Okay. And what will be the value?
It's valued at about $450,000.
And what do you make?
I make about $120,000 a year.
Okay. Well, so the thing that we teach folks is the shortest right way to wealth. And that would be have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses and be debt-free, plus your down payment before you purchase a home. And then if you're purchasing a home that way, you would take out no more than a 15-year fixed-rate loan where the payment is no more than a fourth of your take-home pay. I'm not positive that formula fits in your situation. It might, but that's a lot of house. You're single and how old?
I'm 28.
Okay. I mean, you certainly can do all of this, but I would never do it unless it met those guidelines that I was talking about. And you do not have a down payment plus an emergency fund plus being debt-free.
Yeah, because you'll have $23,000 left, Courtney, after you pay off your student loans. So I would kind of figure out, okay, what would an emergency fund be for you? And yeah, I mean, I would say if you have a stable job, you're single, no kids, you're in that situation, I would lean more on the 3-month side and save up 3 months of an emergency fund.
You got 55 now minus 30 is 25, so you probably got your emergency fund.
Yeah.
But you don't have an emergency fund, debt-free, and a down payment.
And the down payment. So if it's the house you want, Courtney, I mean...
You're not going to buy it.
Well, not today, but I'm saying if her health doesn't decline and she doesn't have to move into nursing...
If you got 2 years to save up a down payment,
that's right, yeah. That's right, that's right. But right now, we wouldn't encourage you, regardless of the situation, of family or not. Yeah, you're not in a position really to buy that. So
and there are some guidelines on the Medicaid look back, on the 5-year look back, and the fair market value. There's also a certain number of dollars that she is allowed to keep out of her principal residence. It used to be $78,000. I don't know what it is now, but so you guys need to get some. It sounds like you've gotten some information. You might have gotten it from the law firm of Google, but you might want to talk to an actual elder law attorney and actually find out what you can do, because my guess is fair market value. I'd want to know what the definition of that is in this situation.
Because is it because that she transferred the house?
Right. You can't move assets out of your name in order to look like you're broke to qualify for welfare. Medicaid is welfare. And if you go to a Medicaid nursing home, it's for broke people that have no money. And you can't be sitting on a $400,000 house and act like you're poor. Okay, so that's the principle on the law. And if you transfer it to your kid, which is what Granny did, she moved it to her son and daughter, in order to hide it, they have a 5-year look back. And if they prove you did it with intent to hide it, it's called fraud. So it's a big problem.
I know, because in an ideal world, if you are in this situation and you have a parent that needs help, then you sell the house
and take care of them.
Take the $450,000 and go in a great nursing home.
Because with rare exceptions, there's a difference in a Medicaid nursing home and a regular nursing home.
Right.
There's a difference in government provided housing.
I'm just saying for people listening out there, if they find themselves in that situation, the right best thing to do for the parents
is take care of them.
Is to sell the house
and take care of them,
and use that money to go into nursing.
Put them into a nursing home. Yeah, it's not about Medicaid look back and how we can hide our granny's assets so that we can put her on welfare.
And we're not saying, Courtney, that that's what you guys did.
No, but that's why the Medicaid look back is there. That's the 5-year look back is to keep people from fraudulently hiding assets. And they can, if they find it, they can undo it. And what she's saying is her family's going to bring it forward. They're not trying to hide it.
Right,
so they're not doing it fraudulently. They're going to say, okay, it's within the look back period, so we have to honor the guidelines of the program. And that's the proper thing to do. And then you have to use that money before Medicaid kicks in. That's the way it works. So this is why you get long-term care insurance and why you build wealth. So, but Courtney, I always resist situations where the timing of the whole thing from a family perspective is good for everyone but you. And this has got you right on the bubble. And so if it works out to where your grandmother's a couple more years and you've got time to pay off your student loan, have an emergency fund, and have a down payment, and the payment on a 15-year fixed is no more than a fourth of your take-home pay, and you like this house, then go ahead. But I won't argue with you. I'll take your word on the fact that I was wrong about you being forced into this thing. But it's if it was a $600,000 house, you'd be out. It's not an option for you, even if you liked it. I mean, you could qualify for it on a 30-year, but I would tell you don't do it. You can't afford it. So that's where this is. I mean, everything in this story is on the edge. It's all on the bubble. Bubble. And
usually
bubble.
we find, Courtney, too, just in general, when you're making big purchases like a house, I mean, it's usually the largest purchase that you're going to make in your lifetime, is when things feel rushed or there's not a lot of options, sometimes you can make a bad decision. One of the most peaceful ways to go about, a big purchase like a home is that there's lots of options. You have the right to be out if you don't want it. It just gives you a lot of freedom and a lot of power, Courtney. And I think what you're saying, Dave, is when you start to get pushed in this corner of like, this is the only thing that I can do, sometimes you don't always make the best decision. So just give yourself the permission to be released from it, do the numbers, figure it out. And if it works for you, then that's great. But just don't be forced into something.
Don't buy this house with a student loan still on the books. Pay that loan off today, and then this works or it doesn't. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, co-host of the Smart Money Happy Hour, and my daughter is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Dylan is with us in Miami. Hi, Dylan. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I am 22 years old, and I just graduated undergrad and got married the next day. My wife and I don't have any debt, but 2 weeks after our wedding, my mother passed away.
Oh, no.
And,
Gosh, I'm sorry, Dylan.
Yeah.
Was that unexpected?
So, yes and no. Yes, in the fact that she declined so quickly. She died at 61, so she left us her IRA, which has about $300,000 in it. And then the main reason I'm calling is because the house that she left has $60,000 left on it. And I'm just wondering, what I'm planning to do is rent it out and have my renters pay the mortgage. But I also have the life insurance, which is, I got about $90,000 left on that, just kind of sitting in my bank account. Should I just go ahead and pay the mortgage off completely and then have that passive income, or what would you guys do?
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
That's completely tough 2 weeks after you're married to make all these decisions. I wish we could slow down. Okay. Mm-hmm. Here's the thoughts that pop into my head. Okay. Number one, renting a property as a landlord is not passive income. That's humorous. That's crap from TikTok, okay? Because there's nothing passive about dealing with renters. I've got a bunch of them. I have been one.
I am planning to hire a property manager.
Doesn't matter. It's not passive. This is very active. Okay. You have a hassle factor in your life called renter. Okay? It's just part of it.
And they'll be renting your mom's home,
and they're going to be in the home you probably grew up in, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird emotionally. It's hard. Okay? So, that's number one thing. So can this be done? Yes, it can be done. You're 22. You're brand new married. In my opinion, the last thing you need is the hassle of a rental property. But if you're going to keep this and give that a try, you should pay it off. Okay?
Okay.
And because that will lower the hassle. You won't have a payment anyway. And so take the insurance money out of the checking account and pay the mortgage off. I normally wouldn't like to make that decision on that property that quickly, but I will tell you, like the home Rachel grew up in is now in my rental portfolio. We kept it. It is weird. I haven't lived in that house in 20 years. It is weird to go over to that house with other people's crap in it, still, emotionally. And I landlord a bunch of property, and I grew up in the real estate business, so I've got a huge advantage over you. And I'm old. I've done this a lot, okay? You're 22. This is your first property. I'm warning you that the first time that they screw around with the house you grew up in, they being the tenant, it's going to be emotional for you. Just be ready for that, okay? No one, it's never going to be the same. It's never going to smell the same in there. Okay? And so all of that. Now, so if you want to get a professional property manager, that's great.
Are you local, Dylan, where the house is?
Yeah.
Are you guys close?
I'm not. I'm in Miami. The house is in Central Florida.
That's not too bad. I don't like long-distance landlording either. So I'm going to tell you that it with all the emotions, if we had a little bit of time to digest all of this, I might just sell it, but that's even a harsher thing than letting a renter be in it. So it's not an automatic thing that at 22 years old, 2 weeks after you're married, you ought to be a landlord. That's not an automatic thing. Okay? So it's an automatic thing you probably shouldn't do, actually, just in terms of quality of life for you. But it's thrown in your lap, and here we are. So if you want to try it, just be forewarned that it's not passive. You're going to have some emotions around other people and smells being in your house. No pets. I love pets. One of my favorite things on the planet is my little dog, but no pets. Not in my rental properties. Okay? We call them $10,000 cats. They devalue your house $10,000 when they put the cat in there. Okay? Yeah. And so, sorry, that's the way that works. So I'm telling you, this is an experienced landlord
Dylan,
talking to you.
Dylan, for you and your wife, where are you guys at financially? I know you said you have no debt. You obviously have this $300,000 IRA from your mom. Do you and your wife, do y'all rent? Do you own a home? Where are you guys at?
Yeah, we're renting. We're just kind of getting started financially. Our combined income is probably around 70 or 80.
Okay.
I would sell this house and buy you a house.
I know. How much is the house worth? Do you know?
Right now it's probably worth $250, maybe $300 tops.
I would sell this house and buy you a house. And when I say that out loud, 2 weeks after you got married, your mom dies, that's very harsh for me to say that.
Yeah.
It's hard for you to even hear that and think about that. But 5 years from today, you having this as a rental property versus you and your new wife having a new home to live in, that's a much better, wiser decision. And I know I'm asking a lot for you to process of a lot of emotions.
And you don't have to make this decision today, Dylan.
You don't have to do it because I said do it. But
give yourself some time and kind of just and maybe you try the renting thing for a year, and I would still pay it off. And maybe you look up in a year, and you and your wife are like, man, we want to get settled somewhere. You have a great asset that your mom left you, which is such a gift, and you can use that gift to continue her legacy. I mean, what a beautiful thing that she, has for you guys. So Maybe it's not right now, but maybe you look up in 6 months and think, okay, we can make this decision. But for you and your family now going forward, you and your wife, you can really use this to jumpstart you guys.
If this house had no emotion tied to it, if she had it as a rental property,
right, you
would have sold it already in your mind. You would I'm gonna buy me and my bride a new house. You wouldn't be going, I'm going to rent and keep this as a rental property.
And let me say this may not be Dylan's case real quick, but the idea of having real estate.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. People want a rental property. I mean, the idea of having a rental property. You don't want to have a rental property 2 hours away and be renting yourself. Yep. No, I agree. But I'm just saying, I know Dylan, I mean, if I can get into a 22-year-old's head, what the kind of content that's out there and what people are saying about
for sure.
Personal finance.
TikTok will tell you got to have a rental house.
Yeah, but it's a very appealing thing, right? To have this quote unquote active income, not passive. But so there's I get where you're at, Dylan, but I think what you have to realize is when you set you and your wife up really well, then in 10 years you could get into this if you want.
All the rentals you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll be a millionaire. Yeah, and you'll have a paid-for home for you and your new bride. The impact on your marriage is positive. The impact on your health is positive. The impact on your finances is positive. I'm sorry. Sorry you're having to make these decisions. Mm-hmm. But that's what I would do if I woke up in your shoes, sir. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, if you're in over your head with student loans and tired of getting calls from collection agencies, if private student loan debt is taking away your financial peace and you don't see any way out, you need Yrefy. They're not a debt settlement company, and they're not connected to a bank. Yrefy refinances defaulted private student loans that other places won't touch and gives you a custom loan built for you based on your ability to pay. So when you refinance your private student loan debt with Yrefy, you'll have a payment you can afford with a low fixed interest rate you couldn't get anywhere else to help you stick to your budget and work the debt snowball. And you can save thousands of dollars. To learn more about this custom refinancing option and a lump sum payoff option you could qualify for after 24 months, call 844-2-RAMSEY or go to yrefy.com/Ramsey. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Our question of the day comes from Neighborly, your hub for home services. Is your to-do list too long? Whether it's a simple repair or a whole list of home improvements, Mr. Handyman's experienced professionals are here to help you make your home work for you. Visit neighborly.com/Ramsey and you can find expert home services. This is a really good company, you guys. It includes locally operated Mr. Handyman near you.
Today's question comes from Katie in Utah. For several months now, I keep hearing ads for title theft insurance. The ads and warnings keep getting louder. I truly feel that someone is not going to steal the title to your home, but there's lots of media people promoting it. Our title is in a trust, and there is no mortgage on the house or property. Can you shed some light on this subject?
Sure.
Title insurance.
Completely bogus. Do not buy it. Absolute crap. Okay.
How do you really feel?
I just wouldn't want to beat around the bush or anything. I want to make sure I'm clear. So basically, title fraud insurance would say someone signed your name to sell your house and recorded that at the courthouse. Okay. That transaction would be undone in about 30 seconds with a lawyer going before a judge. and said person that signed that would be in jail for criminal fraud. Grand theft auto. Hello. It's they just stole a $200,000 asset or attempted to.
How could they even do that,
with a fraudulent transaction? Well, I mean,
they go and pull the title and just claim
if you prepare a deed, and you can type one up, right, and you sign the owner's name to the deed, selling it, okay, and you have that notarized, and you took that to the courthouse and recorded it. That's how that's how a sale on property happens. Mm-hmm. If I'm selling a property, I sign the deed, and they record it at the courthouse, and the buyer's transfers it into the buyer's name. That could be done fraudulently. The number of times that happens is very close to zero. It never happens because it's so absurd, okay? Because the person that did it would instantaneously be caught. Hello, and go to jail. I mean, there's nowhere they crook can hide. It's not like internet fraud where they can hide in Russia or something, right? They have to actually, wherever that money went, I mean, and the buyer of the property would have been defrauded as well, and they're going to get nothing. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't get title insurance on it. You couldn't get, there's no way you could get anything. So title theft. Now, I do recommend identity theft protection in general because there's a lot of kinds of identity theft out there. And that's why we've had Xander Insurance doing that for years. We've recommended ID theft from Xander. I've got it on me. I've got it on all the kids, the grandkids. Everybody's got it. All the employees here have it furnished as a benefit, Xander's identity theft, but it's not title theft. And so, washed up actors will promote anything on a commercial if you pay them. Okay, so media figures, quote unquote, doesn't matter.
And a lot of financial products, a lot of gold, a lot of whole life. I mean, there's
a lot of reverse mortgages.
I
mean, you got the Fonz over there doing that, and Henry Winkler, and you got Magnum PI doing that. I mean, but I mean, it's not like they know anything about reverse mortgages. They're actors, for God's sakes, or they used to be actors before they retired. Hello. So, I mean, it's like, golly. So, no, I mean, these are not legitimate. That does not legitimize the product. No. Crap. Do not buy title theft insurance. Now, make a distinction. There is a title policy that you buy when you buy a home where you get title insurance, but it's not theft. It's title insurance that the title is clean. Always buy that. That's been a standard part of a real estate transaction for 50 years. Okay? And never buy a piece of property without title insurance, ensuring that the title is clean. It's not that expensive. And I have had I've owned, almost 3,000 pieces of real estate in my life, and I've had a handful of instances where the title wasn't clean, and the title insurance company that guaranteed the title to be clean had to come back in and pay the other one off.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I bought a little house I was flipping in the million years ago, and these two sisters sold it to me out of an estate, and they forgot they had a brother. So,
and he was
not really. They took the money and they didn't. So we didn't have the brother's signature, and they were the three heirs to the estate.
Yep.
And the title company that did the title search missed that and did not search. And so the two sisters sign up, and then the brother shows up wanting his 1/3 of my house.
Sure.
And so the title insurance company, they had to pay old brother off.
Speaking of trends that we're seeing. So this title theft insurance she's seeing on social media. You're seeing all these financial products. Here's one on social media. And I'm going to just ask you on the air because I think I can't wrap my head around. I went down the rabbit hole one time and I'm like, I can't quite figure it out. Here's a trend that's out there. And I'm seeing it maybe because the algorithm just keeps feeding to me. A lot of financial people talking about using life insurance while you're alive.
Viaticals.
Talk about that. Yeah. Explain that. Because I get people sending me these reels and they're like, will y'all please talk about this? Because it's a trend right now. A lot of people that are like, this is what rich people do. This is what they're claiming in the videos. Well, there's
two different things. The rich people thing is the...
Well, they always just throw that in the videos.
That's the infinite banking thing.
Well, they just put those always in the videos to get people
but that's the infinite banking thing.
And then they're always selling their product.
That's just crap. That's bad whole life. But the viatical is a person... Okay, I've got $1 million life insurance policy on me, and I've been diagnosed with terminal cancer.
No, this isn't what they're talking about. There's no sickness involved.
Oh, this is just the infinite banking.
Okay,
garbage.
so keep going. Yeah, do that one.
Okay,
Yeah,
infinite
no,
banking.
there's no sickness.
Infinite banking is another word for whole life insurance. That's all it is.
Oh, it's whole life?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just whole life.
Oh.
You put a bunch of money in it, and then you borrow your own money out.
Yeah.
Infinitely.
Yeah.
Which you've always been able to borrow your own money. That's not new. It's your money. You don't have to borrow it.
But you're doing it through a life insurance policy.
You put a chunk of money, way too much, into you overfund the whole life policy.
So what? So you put $50,000 like
up front in a whole life policy. You prepay it.
Yeah.
And so it creates instantaneous cash value.
So it's in there. Yes.
Yeah. And so I got a cash value. Now, if I want my cash value out of my whole life, there's only two ways to get it. It's my money that's in there, right?
Right.
There's only two ways to get it. Cancel the policy, take my money back out.
Sure.
They're going to kill you with fees.
Yeah.
Or I can borrow my own money and pay them interest to borrow my own money. Mm-hmm. And you can do that infinitely. Mm-hmm. So it's called infinite banking. It's infinitely stupid.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, we had a guy call in the other day. We had a guy call in to defend it the other day, and he and I got to argue on the air. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's a big thing because they're like, you can go and like live. You can live this great life.
That's a TikTok
and you don't have to like.
That's absolute bullcrap.
Yeah.
Okay. The only way you have $1 million in a life insurance policy is if you put $1.5 million in there. That's the only way it's in there. I mean, and it makes 1.5% to 2%. And when you die, you lose your money. It's whole life insurance. It's the worst financial product in the middle class. It's the payday lender of the middle class. It sucks beyond belief.
Because here's like kindergarten Rachel finance. So instead, take your $1 million
and put it in an account.
Invest it and live off the interest where you're not.
Oh, that was deep. Infinitely. Okay. You can do it infinitely.
I know, but I'm just telling you. You watch these videos, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, this guy called down there. He's like, banks do this, and I'm like, banks do not do this. They do not do. Banks do not buy whole life insurance. That's a dumb butt statement that you could only make up on TikTok. I mean, that's absolutely ludicrous. Banks buy bonds. That's where they place their liquidity, is in bonds. And that's why your cost of money goes with the bond market. Oh my God. These people just make crap up. But it's like nothing down real estate. I've seen it about 3 times in 30 years. It comes around and everybody wants to do it. And whole life insurance comes back around because somebody that's young and dumb decided it was cool and decides to promote it. And they can make a lot of money selling it.
Well, they sell their product at the end.
They make a lot of money selling it.
Always.
Yeah, the commissions on it are ungodly.
Hey folks, Dr. John Deloney here with some great news. You get to choose. Whatever you do, good or bad moving forward, the choice is yours. And when you're intentional about making good choices over time, they become healthy habits, like choosing to slow down and make time for a daily practice of prayer and meditation. One thing that has helped me with the daily practice of meditation and prayer is Hallow. Hallow is the #1 prayer app in the world, and they're giving you 3 months free to get started. That's 3 months free to prioritize your mental health and be intentional about finding peace through calming music, prayers, meditation, and more. And Hallow isn't just Catholic. You can tailor the content towards your faith tradition. If you don't have a faith tradition, this is a great place to learn more about it. From scripture readings and prayers to journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice mindfulness, build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life, and choose peace. Remember, Hallow is giving you 90 days free. Imagine the peaceful habits you can establish in 90 days. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today and follow the simple prompts to start your free 90-day trial. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personalities, my co-host today. Emma is in Pittsburgh. Hi, Emma. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Okay, so my husband and I used to own a bunch of rental properties, and we ended up going bankrupt because we had your book and somebody else's book, and the other person's book said it was okay to have debt whenever you're renting. We ended up being over $100,000 worth of credit card debt, just because things were breaking in all of the houses.
Yeah, and you had no margin because you put nothing down. Yeah.
Right. And we have a family of 6, so there was a lot of mouths to feed. And I had some health issues, and I was homeschooling those 4 kids. So there was only one income.
And y'all lost all that?
We did lose all of it, yes.
When was that, Emma?
That was 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. It was 1988. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got out of that, got to the point where we could buy another house.
Good.
And now, as I speak, we've got $16,500 worth of credit card debt, which I'm trying to pay that down. I've got a spreadsheet where we're down $3,538.
Good.
In the last 6 months.
Okay.
But still, the total debt is, with a $5,000 balance on a car, is $223,480.
That counts your house.
That yes, that is.
How much of that's your house? I mean, that's all your house except for you got the little credit card debt and so you got $20,000 plus your house, right?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and what's your household income?
It's right now sitting at 95.
Okay.
And
so what's your question?
So my question is, I'm finding my emotional relationship with money is bad. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. I hate money, and I get rid of it.
You are avoiding evil. It's a spiritual stance on Emma's part.
Honestly, I have some family issues where my one family member has a lot of money, and he is not a really nice person. He uses it to manipulate people, and so I don't want to be like him.
Well, money didn't make him that way. Money exposed the fact that he is that way. All money does is magnify.
Okay.
If you're a jerk and you get money, you're a big jerk. If you're crazy and you get money, big, lots of crazy. Okay. If you're kind and compassionate and generous and you get money, you're what we call a philanthropist. Like you change whole worlds because you give so much. So, it's not money. It's just you just got a jerk in the family. Well, welcome to being in a family. Okay, so you have a negative relationship with money is what you're trying to say overall. And I'm not making fun of that. I'm just laughing with you because you're funny. I like you. Okay. So
and so it's caused a lot of pain, Emma, is what you're saying. Money is a place, and you don't feel like you have a good handle on it because you guys have this credit card debt, and you just think, oh my gosh, I just feel like I have no control over this part of my life. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel safe.
I've already proved that by going bankrupt once.
Yeah. Well, I did too. And so, then you got to decide, am I going to happen to this money subject or is it going to happen to me? And what's going on is it's been happening to you.
Yeah, and I think understanding, Emma, it's not just the money part. I mean, I think the money exposes some things, but I wrote a book called Know Yourself, Know Your Money, and I'll give you a copy of that at the end of this call.
Yeah, that book is perfect for this.
But it's to understand, why do I handle money the way I do? And I think for you, Emma, I think it's some good kind of questions to ask yourself. Everything from how you were raised, what kind of, tension was money in the household, what kind of value did your parents place on it, and kind of walking through that, understanding your tendencies. Are you more of a spender or a saver? Are you more scarcity mindset or abundance? What's your biggest fear? A lot of people are driven by fear. They don't want to end up, how they grew up. A lot of people have that fear, so they'll swing the pendulum so far where they save so much because they don't want to, be poor like they were growing up and they saw the hardship or whatever it is, right? So everyone has their own stuff. So that plus, Emma, being married, you have a spouse that has all different factors of everything we just listed. And so working together and all of that can create Yeah, just a lot of tension, a lot of stuff.
That combined with the failure on the other part,
Yep.
and with a house full of kids, a homeschool, all of those
have a
things
lot on your plate.
combine to take away your confidence and your power,
Yep.
your emotional power over money. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that
Okay.
sounds
Yeah.
perfectly.
Are you guys, Emma, you and your husband, do you guys do a monthly budget?
We look at money. We look at the debt together.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get that number down.
I'm going to pile you on with some stuff. I'm going to give you every dollar a premium, okay, as well in this call, because I think one of the things that can feel so out of control, and people do this a lot, Emma, so I'm not picking on you, but they're like, oh yeah, I just have kind of all the expenses in my head, and it's this imaginary thing that can suddenly become very isolating. It can be very scary when you don't see the facts. And Dr. John Deloney talks about this all the time, that facts are your friends. And I think a budget, honestly, working in that and seeing, okay, here's our income that's coming in, because you guys make a great income. I mean, 95 grand, you're doing great. But to be able to say, here's the plan for that. And then for you over the course of time, and I bet you, if you guys start that this month, I bet by January, February, there's going to be a level of confidence over this, Emma, because you're going to learn how to live within boundaries and make different decisions. And you're going to be at the grocery store and be like, okay, we got $200 this week to spend.
And I can spend that, and I don't have to worry.
Yeah, and what do I have to spend to stay within that? And it's this practice of discipline and being in control of that's what the budget does. And I think that really will give you guys a sense of confidence too.
I think the $3,500 in debt that you paid off is absolutely amazing, because you've been beating it with a hammer, not slicing it with a sharp knife. And Rachel just gave you a sharp knife. It's going to go a lot easier. You just beat the heck out of it, man.
And
you just beat the snot out of it. This $3,500 was heavy lifting. You gutted that out, girl. Because you didn't have a sharp knife. You're just wailing on it with a club.
You guys should also know that most of my children are 6 foot tall, and our food budget is $1,600 a month. So
that's okay. That doesn't mean you can't. That doesn't mean you can't get control of money.
Okay, that I know there's places. I know there's other places I can cut spending.
Well, I mean,
so I think that's what it is.
You don't even know where your spending is because you don't have it all written out.
Right.
You get every stinking detail. You will be amazed. You and your husband sit down and look at where every single dollar is going before the month begins, and give every dollar an assignment. That's why we call the app Every Dollar. So, because you're giving every dollar a mission, okay? Mm-hmm. And when you do that, you're both going to go, where the crap have we been doing?
And Emma, and try this. $1,600. That's before a budget. Try $1,400 for the month, right? Like, you start practicing this like ebb and flow. And see, okay, where can we get an extra few $100 here or there? I mean, like it's amazing the power that really does give you, and to be able to cut stuff. But honestly, I think for you guys getting some quick wins, because I think you said, Emma,
confidence,
that it took 6 months to pay off
$3,500.
That. So I want you to do that even faster.
Oh, you're going to do it a lot faster because you're going to have a sharp knife instead of a club.
You're going to have that. So I think that's going to start to give you guys confidence. But I think it's just rewiring these habits, and it takes time. But you're not a failure, Emma. And that's the other thing, is that people equate their net worth or their money mistakes to who they are. And that's when they talk about shame, that shame is your identity. So take those apart, that you are not the past mistakes that you've made. You are not your net worth. That is not who you are, Emma. And so there's a level there that I want you to release that, because that stuff will follow you, and those lies will play a tape in your head that you don't need. Yeah, you're doing better than you think you are, especially considering how blunt the instrument is you're using. Yeah, but stay on the line, Emma, because Austin, I want to give her Know Yourself, Know Your Money and Every Dollar Premium. You're going to love that book, Emma, because it's exactly talking about you. It's the #1 bestseller, and you don't want to miss it. It's Know Yourself, Know Your Money by Rachel Cruz. And it's all that, not only family history, but your tendencies, scarcity, abundance, all that stuff. It's brilliantly done. You will love it, and we'll put you in the Every Dollar budgeting app, and that will change everything. You and your husband do that together, and turn off the stupid TV and tell the 6-footers to go in the other room. We're working on the budget. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personalities, my co-host today. Ray is in El Paso, Texas. Hi, Ray. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Rachel, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Well, I was calling because I recently moved to El Paso from Colorado. We sold the house in Colorado and made a good profit off of it. We are renting in El Paso because we're not going to be there that long. And so I'm trying to figure out what to do with this profit that I've made for the next at least 5 years, probably, hopefully not much longer after that until we're ready to use it for the next piece of property or home that we.
You're going to be there 5 years?
We are probably only going to be in El Paso about 3. I'm active duty. I'm on orders there, but I'm near retirement, so we won't stay.
Okay. 93% of the 5-year periods in the stock market's history have made money. So if you put it in a good growth stock mutual fund or just an S&P 500, which is a good growth stock mutual fund, and leave it alone 5 years, 93 times out of 100, you'll make some money. And this year, you would have made 17, 18% on your money.
Right.
Okay. Now, hear this. 66% of the 3-year periods made money. 1 out of 3 times, if you leave it alone only 3 years, would you make money. 1 out of 3 times you'd lose money. 2 out of 3 times you'd make money. Okay?
Okay.
Now, here's the trade-off. How much money are we talking about?
$170,000.
Okay. And so if you lost 10%, that'd be highly unusual in either one of those scenarios. Losing money might be losing 3%. Okay, but if you lost 10%, you lost $17,000. It does not wreck your world.
Right.
Okay, so I'm putting it in a growth stock mutual fund, something like an S&P. You can sit down with a SmartVestor Pro. If you're going to leave it alone at least 3 years, there is
some good investments already, like a brokerage portfolio, and I saw the same things you just said when I looked at it, but I think I'm just a little bit gun shy because it's more money than I've ever had to deal with before. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what you need to be prepared of is say, could I deal with it? What's the absolute statistically, 1% of the time, if you had a horrible, you were the absolute worst 3-year period that you could have possibly picked, and you lost 20%, you lost $30,000. You're still okay. You're okay.
Right.
But you're not going to lose $100,000 on this, okay? I'm not. I mean, I don't think you are. I mean, we got other problems in the economy if you lose that much.
Yeah.
This whole place has got issues then. So I oftentimes, in my situation, I can absorb that risk. And so I'll take a chunk, even if I'm not even leaving it alone 3 years, and I'll still throw it to an S&P. So I throw spare change into an S&P until I get enough in there to buy a piece of real estate is what I do. But it might only sit in there a year and a half. But this year I would have made 17% on it versus if I put it in a high-yield savings account, I would have made 4%.
Yeah, they're doing great, though.
4%.
For that,
but I mean, really, it's humorous that they call it high yield. It's basically a CD. It's a certificate of depreciation.
Yeah. Right. Thanks for your service.
Yes.
I appreciate that. And that's exciting about getting some money and seeing where it goes.
Cool beans. Very good stuff. Jay is in Atlanta. Hi, Jay. How are you?
Hey, Dave. I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Yep. The reason I called in today, I recently accepted a sales position with a new company, and the details that they gave me during the interview process for the number of appointments set, kept, and then close rate and everything like that does not reflect the reality, and the numbers are greatly skewed. The close rate, for instance, was 33% during the interview. The reality is about 12%, and then appointments kept is they said majority were kept, and then it was.
What were you selling before?
Less than 35%. So I've sold financial products in the past.
Yeah. When have you ever seen a 33% close rate? I would have smelled a rat as soon as I saw that.
This is a different type of. It's outside sales, and
I know.
Yeah,
that's high.
So. Yes, it is very high, and that does actually reflect some of the actual sales.
Okay, are they incompetent or are they crooked?
To be honest, I'm brand new there, and I don't know. The numbers for these types of leads are at 12%.
Is the I know, but I'm saying with you or with other people working there?
No, this is with other people working there. Yeah, okay. Like this is across the board with this particular type of lead.
So you've been able to check this out, and it's system-wide, it's 12%?
Yes.
Okay.
And
so they're either incompetent or they lied?
Yeah. Yes.
Both are scary to work for.
Yeah, then I actually turned down another job to take this one. I had multiple offers on the table, and this one seemed like the better offer.
Yeah, but
and
I mean,
so I don't know how to.
That's water under the bridge now. Do you want to work there anymore? That's the question.
Honestly, probably not.
That's what it sounds like to me. I don't think I do.
Over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
right, so
I'm a lot more scared of incompetent than I am crooks, actually. But I don't want to work for either one. Yeah. There's very few crooks, but there's a lot of enthusiastic ignoramuses out there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what do you? How
would you approach?
Yeah, what's?
I don't think you can go in and confront them and change them.
Well, now, how would you approach another company that you had a job offer from?
I would just tell them the truth. Just tell them the truth.
Okay.
These guys, they gave me a close rate, and I got over there, and it was 1/3 of it. And so and it was almost a tie with you guys anyway. I would have loved to have gone to the prom with you, but the other girl lied to me. So I don't know. I mean, if you came to us and you told us that, we would feel like we were your second choice, but it's okay. God worked it out.
But if they really wanted you,
yeah. I mean, it's obvious you went somewhere else,
well,
so you might as well tell the story.
You're good at what you do if you have multiple offers. So even if one of those companies doesn't, I'm sure there's another one out there.
Yeah.
I have another outstanding offer as well.
Yeah, so I think you're fine. I don't think you're going to feel good about this company.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, I've just talked to you for 3 minutes. I don't feel good about them, but maybe there's more information that I don't have, but that you have. But if I literally, I mean, I had a guy that worked here that decided that we were lacking in integrity on an issue, and he quit. Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's what you should do. You shouldn't work for people that you don't think has integrity. I actually thought we had integrity. He didn't. He quit. That's okay. I get that. I don't want to work for somebody I don't think has integrity. And so, I don't even want people. I don't want people working here that think that we're incompetent or that think we don't have integrity.
Sure, yeah.
You should go somewhere else. I mean, you should go somewhere because it's hard to be enthusiastic about these people.
And too, Jay, if you stay in that, I'm like, I would be probably looking over my shoulder. Anything that they say, I'm gonna have to cut what they say in the thirds because I'm like, you obviously don't know either what you're talking about or you're lying to me. So, that's not 40 hour. You're gonna be working there full time. I'm like, that's too many hours in your week to be thinking about that.
With people you don't believe in. I mean.
Yeah.
Please come do business with this company that doesn't tell the truth,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't. That's such a really difficult.
Sorry, Jay, though. That sucks.
That's horrible to go through that.
Man.
I'm sorry. Makes you mad. Mm-hmm. But, and you kind of feel mad at yourself a little bit because you missed it, I would. And I'm not saying he should.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a normal human emotion.
Yeah.
To kind of like, God, how dumb am I?
I just believe everyone.
Yeah, I know.
I would be like, okay.
I do. I mean, but, I had a guy working here that was lying to me, and I believed him. And I'm like, how dumb am I? Because I believed the guy.
Right.
But he's a pathological liar. But, I believed him. I'm dumb. And I feel, that's a normal thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Sorry, Jay.
I'm
Go
sorry.
get you
That's
another
awful.
sales job.
Yeah.
You're obviously good at what you do. You got lots of offers.
Yeah.
You're going to do great.
Life's too short, man. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, co-host of the Smart Money Happy Hour on Ramsey Networks, and my daughter is my co-host today. Thank you for joining us, America. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Cheryl is in Medford, Oregon. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you, Dave and Rachel, for taking my call. This is a first-time caller, and I'm a little, I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're honored to have you. How
Glad
can
you're
we
here,
help?
Cheryl.
Big breath. So I have a question. I'm in my late 60s, and I'm married happily to my husband. We have 5 adult children. I've been listening for about a year. And what's changed in my situation is my mom passed away about 5 months ago.
Sorry.
And thank you. It's been, she was sick for a while, so, it still was hard. But the situation is she left. We grew up on a piece of property there, and she's been there since about 1958. And we all grew up there, and now this property is in a trust, and we're all trying to figure out how to divide it amongst us. And it's just been really volatile. Not that I haven't contributed to it, because I'm a woman, but I just want to do and honor the Lord and just honor my sister and my brother. But it's difficult because they've all put a lot of money into the ranch. And my mother has it in the estate that she wants it divided amongst us. And we've kind of been an outsider because we've ranched in other places. And now we're here now, and we're just trying to figure out our role in that.
So what is the trust asking people to do, and what is it they don't want to do?
The trust has asked that we divide it equally amongst ourselves.
How is that fair if they put money into it and you didn't?
Let's see, how do I go about that? They invested it in areas that benefited them and kind of an area that they wanted to.
How did it benefit them? They didn't own it.
Did they make money off of that?
Yes, one was in hemp, trying to grow hemp for a couple of years and building a building that utilized that resource. And then another was...
Yeah, but that building now has a value, regardless of whether hemp's in it or not.
Correct, $50,000.
Yeah, and that building, if they built that building with their money, your mom didn't, that should be their money, right?
Correct.
If I was them, that's how I would see it.
Okay.
Which is, let me tell you, the whole idea that they would build a building on someone else's property without having everything lined out in the trust in detail was pretty stupid, because it sets up a big argument. Your mother and your brothers and sisters should have their butts kicked for not doing this properly, because it leaves you in a lurch. So what is it they're wanting to do? The brothers and sisters.
My sister has moved a lot of property. Has moved buildings onto the property and put buildings on the property. Some of them legitimate and some of them not. And then she wanted $150,000 for providing care for my mother.
Mm-hmm. But the trust doesn't allocate that.
No, and then she lived on the property and her children did. 50% of her children did at the same time for the last 5 years.
With no rent?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And so, so I guess the negotiating is that I assume you guys have an estate. Who's the trustee?
My brother.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
The youngest.
And so he's really caught in this. Bless his heart.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Okay, so his job, unless you guys come to a mutual conclusion otherwise, he doesn't have a choice. He legally has to follow the terms of the trust, whether he wants to or not. His only out is that everyone agree to something different and go along with it. But otherwise, he's going to divvy this up straight up. He has to. Because otherwise he's liable for suit. He has a fiduciary trust responsibility as the trustee to execute the terms of the trust. If he doesn't, any one of you that are the beneficiaries would have cause against him.
So Cheryl, the fact that you know that there's other, that they've put money into it, how are you feeling? Are you on one side saying, yeah, you got to divide it up a third, it's what it says? Or are you like, I want to be fair in this and do the right thing, I just don't know what it is? Where are you at in all of it?
Well, it's kind of complicated because all the assets are on one part of the property. It's worth 2.2, but it's hard. Some of it's exclusive farming, and so you can't really do anything with it, and not necessarily can build on it. And that's the part that we've been interested in. But then when we research it, it's going to be pretty expensive to try to, put things in we have to do to live there, and we live about an hour away.
Why don't you just sell it?
And that's a possibility too.
Your part, just sell your part.
Oh, we've just wanted to farm. It's kind of our way to try to. Well, we have cattle. We don't have a place for them. We have a couple at the ranch right now, but we have.
So you're thinking about moving on the property?
Well, we've been thinking about it, but it's been a
next door to all these people that you disagree with. Well, that sounds joyful.
That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, I guess so. That doesn't sound fun at all. Like next door to my brother who's still mad about something that happened 15 years ago. Oh, my God. I would have to have real good, solid, loving, harmonious relationships before I'd want to live next door to him. And I don't know if this story you're telling me ends there. So you need to consider that part of it. But here's your bottom line on the whole thing. Let's pretend that you wanted to allow your hemp brother and your sister tenant to get a little more than you got because they put buildings on it. In my mind, the care that she provided for your mom is offset by the fact she got free rent. So that's absolute bull. I'm dropping that one if I'm you. But she gets nothing. She already got it. It's called free rent. And so then whoever brought buildings on will take the value of those buildings out of the equation and then split what's left three ways. Then they get their buildings back. And so because you should not benefit, I don't think, ethically from them putting a building on the property because you didn't put money in it. It's their money. Again, the whole thing was dumb. That you all that the family did this. Doing this stuff is how people end up not speaking to each other generationally. You end up with the Hatfields and the McCoys. And so, yeah, it's just dumb. But anyway, that's water under the bridge. But let's say that you said, all right, we're going to take the buildings off. Now we run an appraisal. Then you get your buildings back. So you got your buildings back, and then I get my third of what's left. I would agree to doing that. And no $150,000, that is exchanged for the free rent. If you all agree to that, then little brother, the trustee, can go along with that. Otherwise, he has to execute the trust. He does not have a choice. This is The Ramsey Show. Thanks for joining us, America. We're so glad you're with us. We appreciate you being here. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. All right, guys. Last call about the estate that's messed up and the late 60s brothers and sisters that are left fighting because their parents and them did business very poorly. What is the takeaway? Number one takeaway. If you're 18 years old or older, you need a will. Period. Now, let's understand what a will is. If I have a will, if I will it for, if it is my will for Rachel to be on this show, she's on this show, okay, as a guest or as a host, co-host, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, if I have if it is my will to wear a green jacket today, I will get it out of the closet. That's what you want to have happen is your will. Okay? That's what having a will means. This is what you will. It's what you want to have happen. In your last will and testament, it's the last thing you want to have happen, and you are testifying to that fact. That's all that means. So this is what I want to have happen when I do a will. And the executor of the will, the word executor is one who executes. They execute what I wanted to have happen. They don't have a choice. Same is true of a trustee on a trust. The executor can't change the will. It's not their job. And even if they don't like it, even if they think it's not fair, they can't just change it. The trustee can't change the terms of the trust. It's not their job. Their job is to execute those what that person intended to have happen, what they wanted, what they willed to have happen, and they testified to that fact. Okay? So keeping your will up to date is huge. It should be done in the state, according to the laws of the state in which you reside. So if you change states, get a new will. Any other major thing that happens, divorce, get a new will. Death of someone that's in the will, get a new will. Update your freaking will because it's incomplete, it's wrong, you can't execute it if you live in Idaho and you did a will in Tennessee. Okay? It's not federal law, it's state law. Probate law is state law. So it's done according to the laws of the state you reside in when you die. And so if your will is done something or asks for something to be done that the laws of that state you're residing in don't allow and you haven't updated it, you're screwed up the whole thing. This is called grown-up paperwork. Grown-ups do a will. Well, I might die. You're going to die. It does not increase your probability of death when you do a will. You're going to die. There's a 100% death rate in the human race, okay? Plus or minus Elijah and Jesus, okay? The rest of us are going to die, okay? So that's it. You're going to get a will. Go to Mama Bear Legal Forms if you have a basic life and you don't have a lot of complication, and get an inexpensive will online. It's a great will, but it's state-specific. Mama Bear Legal Forms, we've endorsed them for years. You've got a complicated situation, get an attorney. Get an estate planning attorney. I have spent an amazing amount of money on estate planning to keep the government's freaking hands off of it. And then once a year, we have a little meeting with all the Ramseys and all the leaders at Ramsey, and we tell everybody again.
And it's labeled, if Dave dies this year.
That's the name of the meeting. If Dave dies this year. We call it the Monty Python meeting. I'm feeling much better. It's just a flesh wound. But yeah, oh my God. And we sit and talk about my death for an hour and a half.
And when he skydives,
what has changed since last year? In the operation of Ramsey, in the operation of this piece of real estate.
Is he going scuba diving? What are all the ways?
I do all the stuff. I do all the stuff. So I'm not going to quit doing all the stuff. That's not the point, because I'm going to die. That's part of the program. So I'm good with that, because heaven's on the other side of it. I'm perfectly good with that. So anyway, get a freaking will. And when you're going to do stuff with a family piece of ground like that family had, and I'm going to move in with Mama, and I'm going to take care of Mama. Oh, by the way, I'm charging all y'all $150K. Well, kiss my butt. I don't think so. We can stop that on the front end. We don't have to have an issue here. You're going to move in and take care of Mom? So are you expecting to be paid? We're going to write all this down. or we think you should be paid because I'm happy you're there to take care of mom. Okay? I'm more than happy with that. And so if you get more of the estate because you took, I'm happy with that. But we should do all of this in writing as a part of the program and then not leave it behind confused. And so if you're doing something in your will, like I'm not going to leave Jim Bob any money because Jim Bob does heroin and he'll go get heroin and kill himself. So Jim Bob, you're out of the will. Go ahead and tell Jim Bob while you're alive because he's going to be pissed and you might as well have the pleasure of him being pissed while you're alive. You might as well stir it up.
Get him off heroin. I don't know.
Stir it up. Stir it up. Maybe it'll clean him up. But I mean, go ahead. You know, this stuff of we're going to go into the paneled office of the lawyer and the weird plastic surgery induced stepmother and the inbred child and all this other stuff in there, like some movie, and we're going to have a reading of the will. That only happens in a movie. Okay, a bad movie. And we've all seen the movie, all right? Several of them. So in real life, real people go ahead and communicate with their family. They say, brother is putting a $50,000 hemp building on the property. God help us. And so brother is going to get that $50,000 building is not going to be included in the value that is split three ways because it's his freaking money. Okay. And we're going to write that into the trust before brother, because he apparently smoking the hemp, put the building on there without freaking dictating that he was going to get his own money back.
Okay, so people listening though right now.
God.
Need to get a will, yes. But what do you say to people? Because I get this question a lot, that my parents, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to do a will. Whenever we try to bring up the conversation, they shut it down.
Well, then don't put a building on their property.
Okay, I know, but what's your advice? What would you say to someone, though, that's like, how do I help my parents see that they need a will so that we're not in this situation?
Mom and Dad, we love you so much. We would love to see that your legacy is carried out the way you want it to be carried out. When it's all in your head, nobody knows what the flip you want to have happen. So maybe you ought to write it down. It's called a will. It's what grown-ups do.
Okay, that's.
And by the way, the government's going to end up with a bunch of this too if you're going to screw around and do this right. Some of these estates, that's a $2 million estate there.
Yep.
That one is not going to be subject to federal estate tax now, but it would have been under Obama. Okay, and so Trump's estate limits are still in place right now because Biden hadn't gotten around to screwing that up, but he will eventually once he wakes up from. Well, anyway, all right. So I mean, seriously, people, write it down and then have a review with your family. Here's what we want to have happen. I'll give you another example. Okay, this is public knowledge, so I'm not telling some big tale. The Ramsey kids now own the vast majority of this company. I own a minority position, but I own the only voting stock, so I'm still in control. Okay? We transferred that out of our names. Sharon will get none of this company. If I die before Sharon does, it'll go straight to the kids. It's part of our estate plan. By the way, Sharon knows that. Sharon doesn't want anything to do with this place. The kids are going to run it. That's what she does. She just wants money. That's all she wants. And so we got that. We got Miss Sharon set up because the whole estate plan is also presupposing I'm going to die first, which means she has a plan. So, golly. So anyway, that's an example though. Okay, that's a weird thing. It didn't go to my wife and then to my kids. Mm-hmm. It went straight to my kids. And she's one of the owners prior to that.
Yeah.
Too. So. But you talk about this crap and you put it down in writing. It's called a will. It's called a trust that's updated. So people, do your will and tell everybody about it that is in it or not in it so that they don't have to fight about it later. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Rachel Cruz is my co-host today. Dennis is in Richmond, Virginia. Hi, Dennis. How are you?
Hi, how are you? So my name is Dennis. I'm 20 years old, and my question is it crazy that I'm asking my mom for a loan of $8,000? Now, I know the question sounds crazy because there's not really a backstory, so can I give you a brief backstory to go with it?
Sure.
Okay, so I've been investing for about 2 years now. I started my freshman year in college, and I've been day trading for about a year and a half. One of my closest friends is a up-and-coming hedge fund manager, so I get a little bit of information from him, but I'm mainly an investor. About a year and a half ago, before I started really day trading, I referee. That's my only job I have because I'm in college. So I might make $500 in a weekend, and I would take probably about $300 out of that $500 and put it into Webull to invest, and then just keep the other $200 to live off. And I would just keep doing that. And at one point, I asked my mom for $3,000 because my father had just paid all of my child support at one time my sophomore year. It was $40,000, and I was still trying to, climb up on that.
Where's the money? Why do you need money if you're day trading?
Why do I need money?
Yeah. Did you lose all your money?
Yes. Okay. So that's
okay. So you suck at day trading, and you want her to give you money?
Not really, because
really, you lost all your money. You suck at it.
Well, it was from a hedge because I've also made all the money. I didn't lose.
Where's the money? How much money do you have?
$30,000.
How much money do you have?
Right now, I don't have any money in my brokerage account because I took the rest of it out because I didn't want to go any lower from where I was.
How much money have you lost day trading?
I lost about $15,000 in a week.
Suck.
That's what made me take my money out.
Yeah.
But I've also gained about $27,000 in less than a year.
Yeah.
So
okay, let me give you the numbers on this. Okay, 78% of day traders lose money net. When the story is over, 8 out of 10 day traders lose money. 20-year-old day traders who referee, the number's approaching 100%. Don't do this anymore.
Yeah,
and your mother's right. No, she should not give you money. I would not give you money because you're going to lose it.
Even if you can see that the gains are there, and if you check the
honey, I just told you. 8 out of 10 day traders lose money. You're 20 freaking years old and you referee games on the weekend. What makes you think you're better than the others people?
I don't, but
okay, you're going to lose money then.
Yes, I understand that.
Then why would you keep doing this?
It gives me more money to invest. At a certain point, my mom told me, like, her mindset, nobody in the family invests or does any of this stuff.
Good. Because they don't want to do it like you.
She told me that I was stupid.
She's right.
Well, no, I was first investing. This is when she told me that I was dumb for investing, for taking half my paycheck and just investing in stuff. I recently just found out day trading, and at first I didn't day trade. I would just hedge. So that's what had brought me up the amount of money. I bought some SDAO calls and bought some SDAO.
Dennis, you are playing a game that guys that get paid millions of dollars a year play, and most of them aren't good at it. I mean, guys that run multi-billion-dollar mutual funds do what you do, and they still have questionable results. It takes them years and years and years of training and experience to do this. Not, I've got a friend who once worked for a hedge fund, and I'm 20 and I referee on the weekends. You are the recipe of a disaster, sir. Please don't do this anymore. Your mom is right. She smells a rat, and you're going to hurt yourself, son. Stop it. I don't think I'm going to talk you out of it because I think you're convinced yourself. But, dude, I mean, listen, if 8 out of 10 people that walk down the street named A Street get attacked by a bear and killed, don't walk down A Street. I mean, this is it. This is not, I mean, Why do I think, what am I going to do? Get a bear suit? I mean, no. I mean, don't walk down A Street. 8 out of 10 people that walk down the street, a bear kills them. Son, that's what I'm telling you. You know.
And Dennis, I think.
Please don't act like you're different.
Yeah, and I think the appeal, right?
When you're rich quick.
It is. That's what I'm saying. Is I'm like, there's such a better formula to handle your money long term. And I think you have the capacity to do that, to do it the right way, Dennis. That lowers the risk. It's not going to be as exciting, and it's not going to be like boom, boom, oh my gosh, this, and that. It's not going to bring that, but it's going to bring a level of stability and build a really great financial life for yourself by starting great habits. I'm like, just slow down. If you have debt, Dennis, pay it off. Have some cash in the bank to save. I mean, you hustle. You're looking for opportunity. It's just your momentum and your focus is just geared in a way that's really risky, and you're not going to come out better on the other end.
Now, playing the commodities market is almost as dumb, if not dumber. I did that. I had a finance degree. I actually know something about this stuff. Formally, academically studied it. Hello. It was not, I had a friend that was in a hedge fund, and a guy comes to me and he goes, hey, my buddy over here has been doing gold trades, and we're going to buy some futures on the gold trades. And the last 11 times that he has picked the future date and our purchase rate on the thing, and if we put in $5,000, we'll get $50,000 out. He's 11 for 11 on his last 5. Guess what? I put in $5,000. The 12th one he missed, which means you lose the whole $5,000. Mm-hmm. You either get 50 or you get nothing. That's how this works. So that was my gold investment, because I'm just as stupid and dumb. I mean, just as everybody else. I had to try it because I'm smarter than everybody else. Let me tell you, pride goes right before the fall. Once you think you find somebody's got it all figured out and they got a system, bull crap, okay? The only system that works is long-term investing in long-term track record things where 80, 90% of the people doing it make money, not where 80, 90% of the people lose money and you think you're the freaking exception. This is how Vegas is operated. Everybody thinks they're the exception. And that's why Bellagio has nicer furniture in their lobby than you do, because you paid for it, you people that thought you were smarter than the house. That's why they have Chalui or whatever that architecture.
It is crazy.
What is the name of that famous sculpture that does the lighting?
Oh, I know.
Chalui or whatever lighting in the lobby of massive.
The blown glass.
Yeah, probably at Chahui. Yeah. Chahui, is that it?
Chahui. Thank
you. The guys in the booth are trying to help me with my hillbilly, but yeah, it's like $1 million fixture in the lobby,
right? It's
fantastic. Right over where you check in, and guess who paid for that? Stupid people. That's who paid for that. Okay, people that thought they were going to beat the house.
Listen, if you do it for entertainment and you're out of debt,
stupid
and you
people.
have a small amount of money, and you choose
it's
to
not entertaining to lose money. It's not entertaining to think you're the exception of the rule.
I know. But they make you feel that way. I'm a 50-50 story.
Oh, God. Help us. You and Dennis go invest together. Right? That's what y'all need to do.
No, it's just the long-term play, Dennis.
Yeah,
we just
don't please
And
stop.
Hey, great for refereeing.
And,
you were kind of laughing.
Good for you. No, I'm just saying that does not qualify you to be a day trader.
I know.
Because you can call a 5-year-old soccer game. This doesn't set you up to be a day trader. It's not like the prerequisite to winning at day trading. So, he does do hard work. Thank you for that. Yes, and thank you for earning some extra money and so
You're
forth.
Doing
but
great,
I think
Dennis.
your mom is a precious lady. I love her. She's got some sense. Mom, don't give Dennis any money. There you go. Not for day trading.
That's right.
So, sorry, Dennis, you didn't get what you wanted here, but you will always get the truth because we love you. And we don't want to lie to you. We want you to have a good life. And so we're always going to tell you the truth, even if it's fun. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Deuteronomy 28:12. The Lord will open to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hand. You shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. That's the blessings on the house of Israel, on the people of Israel. The promise when they go into the promised land. The curse is you borrow. The blessing is you are having rain on your land in its season. Jim Henson said the only way the magic works is by hard work. But hard work can be fun. Father of the Muppets.
Yes, I did know that.
All right. Stephanie is up. Stephanie is in Minneapolis. Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So a little bit of context. My husband and I are 3 years into marriage. We did a Ramsey-ish thing for the past 2 years, but we have gotten really gazelle intense on baby step 2. And we are looking to be out of debt within the next 8 or so months.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So as we're doing this, of course, Murphy comes around. And what we're facing right now is that my husband's mom is looking at about $50,000 in dental work that needs to be done. All of her teeth have to be extracted. She needs dentures or implants or something like that. And she is looking to us for help. So she called and asked my husband to fill out a loan application while she was at the dentist. And he was like, I can't do this right now. I'll call you back later. So, of course, we talked and learned more that she's hoping that maybe we would, if we aren't willing to do that, we take out a home equity line of credit or maybe sell the house. So as a little bit of background, my husband purchased this home for his mom a few years back before we got married. But by purchase, I mean she paid the down payment and she has been giving him money to pay the mortgage. But he had the credit score. He had just graduated from college. And so they used his credit score, his name for first-time home buyer. And this debt has been weighing on him because if anything happens to her at any moment, then we are now responsible for that house as well. So
you live in that house?
We do not live in that house.
Okay, where is that house?
That house is in Connecticut.
Oh, that's her house?
Yes.
Okay, so she's going to sell her house?
No, it's technically in his name. So
he could sell the house that she lives in and get rid of the debt, and she would have the money for her dental out of the house that is hers. It's morally hers, but it's in his name.
Right. So then we don't understand fully the tax implications of selling the house and then giving her that money.
How much money is it?
The dental work would be
No. How much is the house worth?
Oh, the house is worth about $360,000.
Okay, what did they pay for it?
$235,000.
I mean, 360 and 235. Was that the two numbers?
Yes.
And how long have they had it?
Probably about 6 years now.
Okay. All right. And he's not been depreciating it as a rental property on his taxes, has he?
Nope.
Okay, good. And, okay, there may be a little bit of tax involved, but it won't be a ton, okay? Mm-hmm. It'll be 15% of the gain. The gain would be $360 minus the selling expenses, which will probably be $30,000, so about $330. So you might have $100,000 in gain, and it might be $15,000 in taxes. So I would sell the house and pay the taxes and give her the money.
Okay, and is there a gift tax on giving her that money?
Yeah. You're gonna have to manipulate this because this was a dumb bad deal, and it's gonna take a little bit of work to get out of it. But no, we're not borrowing money. If she wants to sell her house, by the way, she needs to get a second and third opinion. I've been doing financial coaching a long time. I have never yet heard of a $50,000 dental operation, not once, unless there was some kind of car accident.
Well, if they're taking all of her teeth out, you're going to put in veneers or something.
I don't care. I really want to get a second and maybe a third opinion. Okay, on this. In other words, if you're going to do a $50,000 remodel, you get 3 bids.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing here, okay? Because I'm suspect. Okay. So, yeah, I think if mom wants to sell the house that's hers, we got to figure out what the tax implications are, and that money has to be held back, and the rest of the money she can have and use for her dental.
Okay.
But no, I'm not going to borrow money, no.
And she doesn't, and don't put a HELOC on the house, obviously.
No, not in your name. You already got enough debt in your name.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so she's now a renter with good teeth.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. What a mess. Let me tell you, though, this is a really clean break to something that's going to get worse year by year.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to go sideways at some point because this lady doesn't handle money well, and he's propped her up with this purchase, and it's going to go sideways someday. So this is a good time for it to go sideways and get it cleaned up and get his name off of all of her debt, the debt that's associated with her.
Okay. So the best thing is to sell this house, let her take the money, and just keep whatever
This house, meaning the one she lives in that's in your husband's name.
Right.
Yeah, but get tax. You got two types of taxes you have to consider. Like you said, gift tax. Is there a way to work around that? And then you also have to consider the capital gains tax on it. Capital gains tax probably going to be around $10,000 or $15,000 on this, based on what you told me.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And if you can probably move around some stuff on the gift tax and not have any. But you probably need to do a couple.
How much is gift tax?
What's couple of gyrations. It's ridiculous if you get into it. But what is the thing this year? I can't even remember. Let's get my cheat sheet out. Come on.
It's fine.
16,022.
Okay.
So it's probably up a little bit from that. So it's probably 20,000. So that much of it's not going to be taxable, but the rest of it they're going to have to do something with.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You need tax advice, and you need a realtor. But I think this whole story is going to change when you tell mom the house is sold. Because right now all she's wanting to do is borrow, and now she's got to move. So I think this is going to change. I bet you the whole thing blows up. But I'm trying to stir up trouble, because trouble needs to be stirred up here, because it's going to come sooner or later.
Yeah.
And we might as well go ahead and get it out of the way. Because, you don't have a money problem, Stephanie. You got a mother-in-law problem, and I'm trying to help you with that. So get her with.
And that's what's hard about
good, clear boundaries.
Yep. And in that situation, like she said, he graduated college, had a good credit score. Mom needs a house. I'll take it out in my name. Right.
Husband.
This stuff happens.
Your husband didn't tell his mother no when he should have.
But he wouldn't know too, though. That's what I'm saying. Is a lot of this stuff, though. This is where it is. It's the good intention. Yeah, it makes sense. Mom can't get the house, but I can put it in my name. She can pay me. Like, it all sounds
good until you're married.
Exactly. True. And also, that's why you have to be careful with money and the good intention with family members and friends. So don't put your name on other people's debt ever. And if you're going to loan, if someone's asking for a loan, you either give it or say no. But this whole attach your name to my stuff and my money thing, that it just gets weird. It gets weird. So remember, it's clean. Everything needs to be clean.
I guess I'm going to get hate mail from dentists, but that's okay. I'm trying to get.
No,
I'm trying to get more of them. Business.
I think dental stuff is expensive, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, and sometimes, and check it, get a bid.
Yes.
Get another opinion. It's not a bid. Yeah. We're not doing drywall, but don't get a bid. But let's get several opinions and estimates. And is there other ways to solve this issue?
The problem. Yep.
Because this sounds like a complete reconstruction, like there was a car wreck or something.
Yes.
Like, oh man, nasty.
Extracting everything and a whole new set of teeth.
Young people, you 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 22-year-olds, parents come to you asking you to do stuff like this. Don't. I love you, Mom. No. I love you, Mom. No. And by the way, no is a
I love you, Dad. No.
Freaking sentence. There you go. I love you, Dad. No.
Sometimes the dads.
Yeah. Well, this was Mom.
I know.
Come on. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.